Right now at 5, a local business owner shaken after thieves are caught on camera burglarizing her farm stand. Plus, the growing list of condolences coming from across the nation and beyond after the sudden and unexpected death of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. And later on, the reaction from fans and experts after the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks announced they're being sold. Thanks so much for joining us here at 5. I'm John Adams. Our top story, a Hillsboro farm stand burglarized, and the owner is left searching for answers about who did it. Our Jay Coulter has more.
The cash box inside Muddy Feet Farm was pried open and the money stolen, but the owner's grateful it was the only thing broken. Thieves captured on camera stealing from a local farm stand.
He pried it right open, and I could probably just pop it open if I wanted to.
Muddy Feet Farm operates on the honor system, where the community is trusted to pay for what they take. The cash box, one of those ways to pay, now empty.
Yeah, pretty crappy, frustrated. You know, it's not a lot of money. It's just more violation of privacy and, I don't know, trust.
Owner Katie Christensen has been operating the stand for 5 years now. She sells eggs, produce, and handmade goods.
I wanted to be like a business owner, but on my own terms, something that fits in with homeschooling 6 kids. So yeah, this works out well. I can make things as I have time, and they help with it.
But she says it hasn't always been easy.
When we first started, we didn't bolt down a cash box. It was like a little treasure box, and someone stole the whole thing. And then I think a year and a half ago, someone came in and stole a whole bunch of products.
Going forward, Christensen says she wants to get cameras working outside to try and capture a license plate next time. But she feels locking the stand would create more problems.
If I lock the stand and somebody wants to get in, they're just going to break the doors to get in. And those doors were probably the most frustrating part of building this whole thing. So I'd rather keep the doors intact. And if they want the money, then unfortunately, there's not much I can do.
Jay Coulter, KGW News.
Well, new at 5, one person is dead after a building catches fire early this morning. Gresham fire crews responded to an empty commercial building off Northwest Division and Riverview Avenue, where they found the fire burning through the second floor roof. It took more than 3 dozen firefighters to put out the fire, as well as small grass fires caused by the embers. The building was fenced off to keep people out, but was known to emergency crews as having a history of fires. How the fire happened is under investigation. Also new today, Portland police are investigating a crash that killed a pedestrian early this morning. It happened around 1:40 at the intersection of 139th and Southeast Stark. Officers pronounced the man dead after arriving on scene. The driver stayed on scene and spoke to police. Anyone with information about this crash should reach out to the Portland Police Bureau. Well, the man accused of killing a Portland area nurse while she was vacationing in Europe has been sentenced for her murder. Hungarian authorities arrested a 37-year-old Irish citizen 2 days after Kinsey Michalski went missing in November 2024. Police say she met the man at a nightclub before going to his rented apartment. The man denied the crime at first, but eventually confessed to strangling Kinsey and led authorities to her body. Thursday, a Hungarian court sentenced him to 14 years in prison. We spoke with Michalski's longtime friend earlier today.
As long as Kinsey's not here, there's no justice as far as we're all concerned. I don't think there's any real justice that can be had for her in this lifetime. And that's something that we all have to just carry with us and try to make sense of throughout our lives.
Crystal Sorenzo says Michalski was caring, loyal, and a thoughtful friend who would go the extra mile for people she loved. We will have more on our conversation with Sorenzo coming up tonight at 11 p.m. on KGW News. In an update to the hours-long standoff yesterday in Portland's Old Town neighborhood, the suspect, Quayshawn Sanders, has been booked on multiple charges, including domestic violence menacing. Police also seized a loaded revolver. It all started at about 6 last night when a woman called 911 saying someone had threatened her with a gun and then hung up. After hours of failed attempts to contact the people inside, police broke down the door. Officers found a man and woman inside and say no one was seriously hurt. The Special Victims Unit is now investigating. All right, let's take a live look outside right now where we saw another sunny and pleasant day for our Sunday. Even though we were a little cooler than average, we're about to see a bit of a warm up throughout the week. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri has more on how hot it's going to get. Joe?
Hey there, I have a couple days in the 70 forecast where we could be looking at temperatures close to 90 degrees. That includes basically tomorrow through Wednesday, but no excessive heat. I don't really think we go into the mid to the upper 90s anytime soon, at least for the next few days or so. Here's a live look from our Chinook Winds casino camera over in Lincoln City. Temperature of 66 degrees as we go to the coast into downtown Portland from our Pioneer Park building camera. We're seeing a temperature right now of 78 degrees. Gorgeous weather out there to wrap up the weekend as we go from the coast, the valley, and going into our west to east transition. This is a live look now from the Oregon Veterans Home camera over in the Dalles with a temperature of 86 degrees. Beautiful, not a cloud really in the sky throughout the coast, the valley, or into the east side of the state. Sunny and nice tomorrow, and temperatures will be a little bit warmer, getting into the mid to the upper 80s in many locations. A few spots could get close to that 90 degree. Tuesday turning hot. Both Tuesday and Wednesday, we could be looking at highs closer to 90 degrees. And then, John, believe it or not, I do have showers in the forecast, and a good amount for approaching the middle part of the month. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. U.S. and Iranian forces have exchanged heavy missile and drone assaults, with Tehran targeting U.S. facilities in states across the Gulf today and saying it had again closed the vital Strait of Hormuz. The strikes were the latest in a cycle of attacks and counterattacks as Iran seeks to assert control over the shipping through the strait. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said today it had launched attacks on the U.S. in response to the aggression of the American army. President Trump leading the long list of condolences after the death of Senator Lindsey Graham. The lifelong South Carolinian died suddenly Saturday night. He spent more than 30 years representing his home state and had just returned from a visit to Ukraine when he suddenly passed away. NBC's Alice Barr has more.
Thank you all very much.
Tributes are pouring in after the unexpected death of longtime Republican Senator and fierce Trump ally Lindsey Graham. President Trump praised Graham as a true American patriot and told Meet the Press anchor Kristen Welker he spoke to him just last night.
He sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. I had a right to be. And he was a worker. He was really a worker, but he sounded great, actually.
Emergency responders were called to Graham's Washington, D.C. home late Saturday night for a cardiac arrest. His office confirmed he passed away after a brief and sudden illness.
He started public service because he wanted to make sure that no one felt invisible, that the people who needed the help, that the government was there to help those who could not help themselves.
No better friend, no tougher adversary. And he and I certainly fought plenty over our differences about politics and policy, but we also traveled the world together.
Former President Biden, who served in the Senate with Graham, said the two disagreed often and sometimes loudly, but said they did agree on the profound importance of public service. Former President Bush said South Carolina was fortunate to have such a committed public servant in its corner. Graham grew up in South Carolina and served in the Air Force before dedicating more than 3 decades to Congress. His longevity and experience gave him outsized influence, especially on foreign policy, where he at times broke with President Trump. Graham staunchly backed Ukraine against Russia and had just returned from a trip to Kyiv, where he met with Ukrainian President Zelensky, who honored Graham as a true defender of freedom. The senator was also among Israel's chief supporters.
I've lost a beloved friend who I've had for many decades. There's just no one like him.
One of the most high-profile senators, Graham was often a guest on the Sunday shows and was scheduled to appear on Meet the Press today. It would have been his 64th appearance. Instead, Washington and the nation are remembering the senator gone at 71. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Senator Jeff Merkley also shared a message of condolence as he and Senator Graham worked on 3 Senate committees together. He says, in part, we shared a strong interest in defending Ukraine and, to the surprise of many, in climate change. Mary and I are keeping Senator Graham's family and staff in our thoughts in this difficult time. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement on his health on Sunday. The longtime Kentucky senator has been in the hospital for weeks. and rumors have swirled about his condition. The senator said he fell at his home in D.C. and then contracted a mild case of pneumonia. The Senate resumes its session on Monday, but McConnell will miss some time as he continues his recovery. Well, new at 5, a scary incident for tourists visiting Portland after officers say a naked man grabbed and tried to abduct their 7-year-old girl. Now, this all started Saturday just before 7 when dispatchers got a report of a man running around naked along Waterfront Park, and then a call from someone saying that man tried to punch them. Just after 7, a third caller reported the suspect, now identified as Daniel Vassy, grabbing a girl and trying to pull her away from her mother. The girl's family and bystanders attacked Vassy, and he was later found and arrested while he was waiting in the Willamette River. And 2 people now face charges over crimes that happened during the 4th of July weekend. Police say Michael Herring Jr. was arrested Thursday on felony charges, including attempted murder. They say there's evidence he's involved in 2 shootings, one on the 4th and a second on the 5th. On Friday, police arrested Jasmine Moore and seized a handgun he tried to throw away. They say both Moore and Herring are linked to a robbery on the 7th when a woman said 3 men robbed and assaulted her. Well, check this out. Some warm wishes are fluttering in the breeze at Portland's Japanese Garden. Sunday, the garden hosted its annual Star Festival, also known as Tanabati. Guests were invited to write down their wishes, everything from happiness to peace to even their team winning the World Cup. Volunteers hung the wishes from bamboo trees as part of a centuries-old Japanese tradition. Some guests even drew pictures of their wishes.
Money coming out of my hand to give to homeless people.
My first wish here is peace and prosperity for my family and my friends. And then this one coming up here is for peace for the world as well.
Musical performances also told the legend that inspired this celebration, centered on 2 lovers separated by the Milky Way who are reunited once a year. Guests are encouraged to visit the garden to read the wishes on the bamboo trees while they're still on display.